dear friends and net aspirants, welcome back to High Point again. In this video we are going to learn about Ben Jonson, the great dramatist of the Jacobian age. So Jacobian age is from 1603 to 1625. See, all this basic idea about Jacobian age we have already seen in the first video of the series known as Elizabethan age. So I have not given it as a separate thing because this is just a small kind of age we have here. So Ben Jonson lived from 1572 to 1637, and his major literary production happened during the age of James the First, who ruled England from 1603 to 1624. That is known as Jacobian age in English literature. So the last video was about Shakespearean sonnet, and with that video we have finished a long series related to Shakespeare, in which we have discussed more or less every other important dramatic work by William Shakespeare in detail. I hope that was so helpful for you in your UGC NET JRF endeavors, and for now we have stopped it. Maybe in the future we will revive it with some other details related to Shakespeare. Today's topic is Ben Jonson, and we are providing lot of free materials in YouTube, like you can see now, as well as in my Instagram page. There I'm sharing lot of things like study cards. In a glimpse you can have many some information related to some topics related to literature, and short video tutorials, long video tutorials, lives we are going to start after some period, sooner or later we are going to have live collaboration classes in my Instagram page. In YouTube too we'll start live classes. So don't miss any of these free materials that we are, free information that we are providing there related to English literature, that will be helpful in your UGC NET JRF preparations. And also we have a website known as www.highpoint.in, in which we are sharing lot of systematically arranged, simplified and comprehensible study materials in the form of audio lectures that you can hear sitting anywhere and everywhere if you have a net connection and a phone, and you can hear it multiple times. Okay, and also you will also get 300 plus PDF study materials about all the selected important topics of every other topic that we have provided, and along with that the whole previous set of question papers and practice set of question papers are also arranged in the website, so that you can attempt them and come back to them as many times as possible and revise the materials that you have already learned and have more knowledge about literature and know your progress and marks after submitting the response. So these questions and question papers are lively attemptable, and you can come back to these materials as many times as possible. So once you have the free trial, and if you are interested after joining the course, then you will get two bonuses, two offers from us, which are every week you will get a test. A weekly test is going on in every Saturday, those who are the students of High Point, and also you will get personalized study guidelines according to your own preferences of topics, according to your own schedules of the day. Don't miss the chance of having these bonuses, because we are not charging anything for now for providing these facilities, and along with that we are also provided 15% of off in my website for every other course that we are providing in my website for now. So grab it while it is available. So don't wait for the next NTA UGC NET JRF notification to come and start learning. Today itself start study early and revise the material as many times as possible, cover them all and have the full-fledged use of everything what we have provided. So if you have any other doubts, any other queries, then don't forget to call me or message me in this number. And also we also have a WhatsApp group in this number. If you want to join that WhatsApp group to have daily quiz, question and answer, some study materials, and also news and updates related to NTA UGC NET, you can go to the description box, click the link and join, or if not, you can directly message me in this number to have the link, and you can join it very easily. So moving on, let's have the biography and career related information. And first of all, the introduction. Ben Jonson was born in 1572 in London, and his father was a clergyman, a man who is related to Christian religion and church, and he died before his birth. Jonson was educated at Westminster School by the great classical scholar William Camden. See, William Camden, he was one of the contemporary, the then classical scholar of the time, and he was famous, and Jonson got education under him. Okay, so this education that he got about great classical works, it is quite reflective in his works as well, in his dramatic compositions as well. Later, after his education, he joined the army, and from the army he returned to London about 1594 and married Anne Lewis in 1594. In London, Jonson joined the theatrical company and established himself as an actor and playwright. So London was a kind of hub for every other artistic form, especially for literature and also theatre. So London, he came to London and he joined a theatrical company and established, and he made himself popular as an actor and also as a playwright. So we love him for being a great dramatist. Okay, now let's see Jonson's career. What were the tremendous things happened in Jonson's career as a dramatist? Jonson was charged for sedition for a satirical play he wrote along with Thomas Nash, titled as this Isles of Dogs in the year 1597. So Isles of Dogs, he composed this particular play in collaboration with Thomas Nash, and it was charged with sedition, and it was a satirical play. Okay, and in 1598 he came up with his first major success, which is known as Every Man in His Humor. So this play became so popular, and along with this play, the playwright Ben Jonson also became so successful as a playwright of the time, and this was his first major success, also his one of the major individualistic work as well. And this work, Every Man in His Humor, this play came out in or staged in 1598. And the play and its sequel, see, Every Man in His Humor has a sequel known as Every Man Out of His Humor, elaborated his famous theory of humors. So the then concept about humor is that there are 4 humors available for a human being, and what is the prominent humor that is there in an individual, that according to that humor, that prominent humor, the character of the person will get displayed. So we will have that kind of a character according to the popular humor, according to the prominent humor that we have inside us. Okay, so that was his famous theory of humor. And Jonson was also involved in the famous War of the Theatres with the playwright like John Marston and Thomas Dekker. See, these 3 people, Ben Jonson, John Marston and Thomas Dekker, they are involved in the famous War of the Theatres. So what is War of the Theatres? Let's see. So War of the Theatres, it started when Marston presented a satirical portrait of Jonson in his Historiomastics in 1599. So Marston is another contemporary Jacobian playwright, and he presented a satirical portrait, a ridiculing portrait of Jonson in his work Historiomastics in 1599. So with that, the War of the Theatres began. So in reply, so Jonson won't be sitting silent, right? So as a reply, Jonson critiqued Marston's style as Faustian in his Every Man Out of His Humor. So as a reply to Marston, he criticized Marston's style of writing as a Faustian style in his work, in his very popular work, Every Man Out of His Humor. And Marston in turn satirized Jonson as Lampatho Doria in his play What You Will, believing that Jonson criticized him in his Cynthia's Rebels. So what happened? So after Jonson criticizing Marston's style in Every Man Out of His Humor, again Marston in turn criticized or satirized Jonson as Lampatho Doria. So he used this term in order to satirize Jonson, Lampatho Doria, in his play What You Will. So Marston has written the play What You Will, so in which he calls Jonson as Lampatho Doria, and why he did so? Marston believed that Jonson criticized him. Jonson criticized Marston in his work Cynthia's Revels. Later, Jonson mocked both Marston and Dekker. So far Dekker is not there in the scene, but later, after Marston's satirizing of Jonson in What You Will, later Jonson mocked both Marston and Decker's style of writing in his The Poetess. And in this particular play, Poetess, Marston is represented in the character Crispinius and Dekker in Demetrius. Jonson mocked and ridiculed both Marston and Dekker in his work known as The Poetess, and Marston was ridiculed through the character known as Crispinius, and Dekker in the character Demetrius. So Crispinius and Demetrius, these two are characters in Jonson's play The Poetess. And so Dekker is now in the scene. So Dekker won't be sitting silent and inactive. So Dekker in turn attacked Jonson in Satyromastics. So Dekker has written, or Dekker came up with another work known as Satyromastics, in which he attacked Jonson and called him punny, pockmarked, conceited pedant, murderer and bricklayer. So basically Dekker calls many unworthy names to Jonson in his work Satyromastics, such as punny, pockmarked, conceited pedant, murderer and bricklayer. So after a certain period of time, the three eventually reconciled with each other and collaborated. See, Marston, Dekker and Jonson, they collaborated in works such as Jonson collaborated with Dekker in The King's Entertainment, and with Marston, Jonson collaborated in Eastward Ho. So with Dekker, he has written The King's Entertainment, and with Marston, Jonson has written Eastward Ho. So later the three eventually reconciled with each other. So that's what the War of the Theatres. Please remember this particular event in association with Jonson, Marston and Dekker. Okay, now moving on about his literary or dramatic career. From 1605 to 1634, Jonson produced popular masques for the courts of James I and Charles I. So masque is another kind of theatrical performance only, but it is a kind of embellished kind of performance. Not common people cannot afford it to watch it, because it is so expensive that only the court or kings and other wealthy people can afford it. So he actually produced a lot of popular masques in the courts of James I and Charles I. In 1628, he was appointed city chronologer of London. Okay, in 1628, he became city chronologer of London, and Jonson was written only 2 tragedies. So while he was a playwright, he has written only tragedies. All others were comedies. And which are the 2 tragedies by Ben Jonson? Sejanus and Catiline. Mention this point if you are writing down notes. So Jonson has written only 2 tragedies, Sejanus and Catiline. In Dryden's The Essay of Dramatic Poesy, he praised Jonson as the most learned and judicious writer which any theatre ever had. Dryden, in his popular critical essay known as The Essay of Dramatic Poesy, he praised Jonson as the most learned and judicious writer which any theatre ever had. See, about the Essay of Dramatic Poesy, we have already done a detailed analysis, detailed video in the video lecture series known as Literary Theory and Criticism. You can refer to that particular series if you want to have more details about the essay by Dryden. So in that essay, he praised Jonson, got a praise from Dryden as the most learned and judicious writer which any theatre ever had. Dryden compared him with Shakespeare and called him more correct poet. So Dryden, he compared, towards the end of the essay, I think he compared Jonson with Shakespeare. Both of them were great writers of the time, and Dryden called Jonson as the more correct poet. According to Dryden, if Shakespeare was Homer, Jonson was Virgil. So all this comparison going on in that section. Dryden called Shakespeare as the Homer of English theatre, while Jonson as the Virgil. Jonson died in 1637 and buried at Westminster Abbey. So he was buried in Westminster Abbey after his death in 1637. His epitaph on the tomb is "O rare Ben Jonson." So epitaph means some inscriptions that we can find on the tomb of people. So the epitaph goes like this: "O rare Ben Jonson." So Jonson's tomb carries this epitaph: "O rare Ben Jonson." Now let's see the chronological list of Jonson's comedies. A Tale of a Tub is a comedy staged in 1596. The Isles of Dogs comedy, and in collaboration with Thomas Nash, he has written this in 1597. And Every Man in His Humour is again a comedy in the year 1598. This is his first major success as a playwright. So Every Man Out of the Humour, which is again a comedy and sequel to Every Man in His Humour, published in the year 1599, and Cynthia's Revels in 1600, The Poetaster comedy 1601, Eastward Ho comedy, and this was in collaboration with the Marston and George Chapman. Jonson has produced Eastward Ho, a comedy, in the year 1605, and Volpone. Volpone is a comedy in 1606. Epicone, or The Silent Woman, is again a comedy in 1609. So Silent Woman, let me tell you again that Dryden, he praised this particular work, The Silent Woman, in the essay of Dramatic Poesy, and he says that this work is it's an important work in English literature as far as drama is concerned, because it actually follows three unities, as well as it pushed the English theatre into its modern form. It is following the three unities. At the same time, it is modern in its style. So more than any other plays of the time, we can say that Jonson's The Silent Woman is the play that pushed English drama into its modern form. Okay, that was praise made by Dryden in his essay about The Silent Woman. So that another name for The Silent Woman is Epicone. Okay. The Alchemist is again a comedy, published in 1610, and Bartholomew Fair is again a comedy in 1614. So he has written only two tragedies. All these are comedies by Ben Jonson. Now let's see two tragedies by Jonson. Sejanus came out in 1603 and Catiline in 1611. Later, as a playwright, he came up with the masks for the court of James I and Charles I, which are the Coronation Triumph or the King's Entertainment in the year 1604, then Mask of Beauty in 1608, the Hue of City after Cupid or the Mask at Lord Haddington's Marriage in the year 1608, the Mask of Queens in 1609, the King's Entertainment at Welbeck in Nottinghamshire in 1633, Love's Welcome at Bolsover in 1634. So these are the masks by Jonson. So which are they? The Coronation Triumph or the King's Entertainment, the Mask of Beauty, the Hue and Cry after Cupid or the Mask at Lord Haddington's Marriage, the Mask of Queens, the King's Entertainment at Welbeck in Nottinghamshire, Love's Welcome at Bolsover. So these are some major works by Jonson. So we have seen more or less every other work. So important comedies one by one we will be discussing in coming up videos in this lecture series. So this was about the biography and literary career of Ben Jonson. It was rather small, but I think we have seen more major important things related to Ben Jonson as a playwright. So that's about this video. Please mention your major takeaway in the comment section so that the other students who are following this video may get some idea about this this entire video, and also let me have a satisfaction that you have got something out of this video valuable. And don't forget to visit my Instagram and follow me there too, as well as visit my website to know more about our courses and our offers. And along with that, if you are studying on your own, this visit to my website will be helpful for you in order to know about what all topics you need to study, and under that topics what all things you need to study. One by one you can learn your own. If you are interested, you can join to our courses with the 15% off now available there. And if you want to know more about anything that I have said in this video, or want to join the WhatsApp, or you want to know more about the course or Instagram page, you can directly message me or call me in this given number. Don't hesitate even for a second to call or WhatsApp me or message me. I'll be glad to share everything what we have there and my knowledge and experience about NTA, UGC, NET, JRF, English language and literature. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel here in YouTube, please subscribe to it if you like and interest in having more contents related to NTA, UGC, NET, JRF, English language and literature. And while you are subscribing, press the bell icon too, so that you don't miss any of the updations and uploadings that we are making in here. So that's all about this video. Meet you in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point and keep loving literature. Be happy and safe in your life wherever you are, and be successful in whatever you are endeavors. So that's all guys. Ta-ta.